Hi, today we're going to talk about structuring your lesson. This is really important because if your lesson has a good structure, it will help students to see the relevance of each task that you're getting them to do. It will help them build on their knowledge, and it'll ensure that your lesson is meaningful and actively engages the learners. Obviously, the structure of your lesson will vary depending on what skill you're teaching. In this video, we will look at some ideas and some things to consider. Now, every lesson should always begin with a warmer. A warmer is a really short 3 to 5 minute activity that, as the name suggests, warms the learners up. It could be a conversation, a little discussion. It doesn't have to be anything to do with your lesson objectives. It could be a team building thing, anything. If your warmer is not connected to the topic, a lead in to the topic would be really good to have. Obviously, you've got your main objectives that you need to cover in the lesson, so you'll be covering those. You should have some kind of formative assessment. Now, this doesn't need to be anything formal, like a little quiz or, a worksheet or something that needs to be completed. It could be you as the teacher asking your learners some questions to try and gauge what they've understood, what they're still struggling with, what areas you need to focus on or perhaps recap, and so on. It's also a good idea, obviously, depending on the type of lesson you have, to have some discussions or some group work, pair work, so that the learners are actively involved in the topic. You would probably end with a plenary or some kind of concluding activity in which the learners recap on what's been covered in the lesson. It might be you summarising what's been done in the lesson, bringing things to a close, maybe going over anything that you've noticed in the lesson that's not quite working the way it should. And throughout your lesson, interweaving other knowledge, skills and behaviours like digital skills, employability skills, maths, English, dropping those in where possible. And you don't have to have digital skills in every lesson, but other aspects should be embedded in your lessons. Some things to consider are you do need to avoid having like a shopping list of tasks that aren't really connected, which a lot of people do seem to do. A lot of teachers feel that, oh, I need to get this done, and this done, and just kind of put them in. It's really important to find a link between tasks in order to ensure that the transition between them is smoother and so that it makes sense to the learners, so they see the relevance of what is being done, and it's not disjointed. I was once observing a lesson where it wasn't clear and the learners commented on it. They were asking, why are we doing this? Well, I don't understand why we just did that when we're now doing this. It didn't make sense to them. Okay, they always need to see the purpose. Do ensure also that students are building on what they know. It really helps them to go from something that's quite basic to something quite complex in a logical way, rather than things that don't build on each other. It's really important to scaffold the lesson. Do plan your lesson around your objectives, not the other way around. Don't have your shopping list of tasks and then figure out what your objectives are. Have your objective first. What do you want to achieve from the lesson? And then plan the activities around what you need to achieve. It's always important after the lesson to reflect on how it went. If you feel that an activity didn't go so well, perhaps because the learners were tired or they weren't so motivated, okay, that's a good reason. But what could you, as the teacher, do differently? How could you have changed your questions or built up the activity or presented something differently in order to engage them better, in order to build their motivation? It's always important to consider what you as the teacher could have done, not think about, oh, that it was the learners that didn't do it. I hope that's helped you. Thank you for watching.